Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the PUBG European League Contenders Phase 3 promotion. My name's Esquire, joined here by Imperium to commentate the action for you throughout stage number 2 of this Contenders promotional. We had an exciting game number 1 to set the pace here for these matches. The members of YMCA coming up with a huge 20-point chicken dinner. But can they repeat it? Imperium, what are your thoughts coming into game number 2?
My thoughts coming into game 2 is that it was great to see every single team ending game 1 with points, right? You know, it's always nice to see something for your work, so to speak. But coming into game 2, of course, huge potential. They want to live up to their name, right, and get higher points. It's still early days. You know, we saw in stage 1 where these teams did have games where they had 0 points. It was 1 or 2 games in the 16 games total. So I think there is room for these teams to have a bad performance or two, but they just don't want to make it consistent.
Well, yeah, certainly. Day number 1 of these 4-day tournaments, 4-day stages, they're essentially it's a point chase. You want to put as many points on the board. It's okay to have a bad performance here or there, but points wherever you can get them. But worry about how many points you need to at least survive or to try to get out of that relegation phase towards the end of the tournament. But until then, face off against a pretty nasty phase number 1 circle. Off to the far east we go. Water going to be in play. Even part of the circle going to be off the map. So teams will have to find a position in a much smaller land area.
Oh boy, I love it. Absolutely love it. I love these circles that just really throw these teams off somewhat, because the plane trajectory was generally quite midway and gave so much opportunity for the team. Yeah, it was a great plane. But then that first circle just kind of kicks the teams in the face a little bit and kind of go, oh, damn it, we have to move so far east. And like I said, it just exposes the teams to have to face off in some early game action that they might not want to. But either way, Pachinki is eXtatus's home for now, as they will look to loot up effectively, efficiently, and then move their way through into the circle.
eXtatus currently sitting 8th place on the leaderboard, picking up 4 points from game number 1. I see a lot of eXtatus fans in the chat. So make sure any fans of any teams here competing, all 16, spam those emotes, spam whatever phrases you have, and show your support for these squads as they try to make their way through this tournament. And Imperium, one of the things that I'm starting to recognize here is 8 of these teams are going to be playing 32 games of PUBG in a row, 4 games a day, 8 days in total. That's a lot of PUBG. That's a lot of competitive PUBG that really starts to wear you down after a while.
Not to kind of correct you a little bit, but it's still 7 days. But on Saturday and Sunday, according to the schedule, it's 6 games a day. But it's the same principle, right? These teams are playing so much PUBG action over these 7 days that, yeah, you're right. Their mental fortitude, their kind of attitude, their state of kind of mind needs to be kind of fresh, consistent. And that's why I talk about kind of after a bad game, just let it go and you move on to the next game, because there's every chance that next game could gladly go in your favor and you'll find yourself getting 20, 25 points in the game.
Approaching the 4.5-minute mark of game number 2, where the blue zone will start to make its way over towards that far eastern phase number 1. 3D Max going to be holding strong here in Yasnaya. All to their lonesome, this is going to provide them with a very wide split, able to utilize massive efficiency to pick up every bit of loot that they need to take them through hopefully the mid and late game. Severny going to be occupied by Futbolist, who look to try to do the same. Not big of a rotation having to come out of this team up here towards the north. Just a short trek along that northern highway will find themselves entering into phase number 1.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's because the circle is so far to the east and it's occupying a lot of that water, it can make it a bit unpredictable of where these teams do want to end up in going into circle 1, heading into circle 2, because you don't know if it's going to shift so much back to the west, if it's going to shift southwest, northwest. It does make it a bit unpredictable, and that's why you don't want to You don't want to make, in my opinion, too much of a shift towards the east of the map or even towards the northeast, while still obviously finding a good compound. But eXtatus looking to take on that one member of Inside Games all on the lonesome, and they goes out. He's going to go up on top of the roof. Is he going to be able to try and get away? He is taking a little bit of damage, Esquire.
Is able to find one knock, tries to find the other, is not going to be able to do so. The second knock comes in from one of his own teammates of eXtatus. They are able to find the flush onto Inside Games, a good push, and an unfortunate end for one of the scouts for Inside Games who had found that heaven position. That was going to be a very good, powerful position for them to hold on to here in phase number 1, but they have lost it out. eXtatus comes in swinging hard here in game number 2.
Yeah, they want to follow up on a fantastic first game for them. Fantastically consistent first game of just 4 points. I know you're going to go, well, it's only 4 points, but when you're going into phase 2, when the average is between 5 to 10, to get 4 points in game 1, it really is not the worst start, especially because a good few teams below them that had better stage 1s only got 1 point. So either way, it's a good start for them. But last crew, they want to move on up. They started game 1 with a nice, juicy total of 8 points. I think it was 7 kills they got in game 1. So if they can follow it up with a higher placement standing, that'll give them good scope to reach the contenders.
Airwaves making the cross from south to north, just by that cube compound and east of the crates. The shots coming out, though, as the members of Inside Games have found another compound to call home, and this one they will be trying to defend, sending the members of PKD packing and in a different direction. Not going to let the same fate happen to Cynics and his teammate that befell their other teammate. Unfortunately, the first blood of this game number 2. A few other teams loom in the distance. 3D Max off of the mansion area, hiding in the forest. Also have to worry about Powerful in that compound just to the northeast of where 3D Max is holding.
Yeah, 3D Max are holding a nice location, even though they are a little bit split up, because there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of forestry, there's a lot of little dips and hills that even if they kind of get somewhat spot out as one member, there's a high chance they're going to be able to get away from it, and they're still going to be able to kind of have a bit of a scope around in the 360-degree angle around them. As MJ-Esports, they find a bit of a cave area. They're going to be able to go inside, loot up, and just kind of stay a little bit more protected.
Shelter an interesting position to hold off of the eastern edge of Melta, though it's going to be simple, trying to protect their own area of the map as they spot out a rotation coming in from the 4 Kings, who are looking for an area to at least hold on to the southern side of phase number 1. With a minute and 20 seconds on the clock for the blue zone to push us into phase number 2, teams now need to definitely be in position to make that rotation wherever this next phase will be going. And Simply Simple, after a 1-point game, is looking to try to make more of an impact here in game number 2.
They're looking to be simply the best. I know. Don't quit my day job. But Futbolist have got 1 frag onto HP. Huge potential, putting them under a bit of pressure right now as they're in that vehicle trying to drive away.
I mean, if you're going to quote a song, you almost have to be peer pressured into singing it, right?
No way.
All right, that's your one get out of singing free card right there. Muck, the members of this squad of Last Crew, having a good performance, like you said, in game number 1, 8 points on the board. Will be trying to maneuver their way around this eastern coast of Erangel. Still, all 4 going to be loosely together in a bit of a 2-2 split, as the high ground position over on this side of things is going to be held by the members of eXtatus. We saw them push in here dominantly and take this compound away from the scout of Inside Games, and continuing to hold this in this position is going to be good for them. They could even eventually find some spots inside of the forest onto the likes of 3D Max.
Yeah, it's a great spot. They are preparing to move out. Let's see what this next circle does. Behold Force, and it goes very much westwards, but it's quite central, right? So a lot of teams that made their way in from phase 1 are still inside the circle. I like that. I'm sure the teams are actually pretty happy about that.
Sure, some of them, but some of the teams finding themselves outside of the circle are going to be rolling into some chaos, trying to work their way through that eastern side of phase number 2. If they make that rotation like we saw a few teams do, dipping into the blue zone and making that far southwestern flank into the western side of phase number 2, they will find a very wide open area. But expect no one to play dead center of Yasnaya Fields. That's going to be essentially a dead zone, unless by necessity a team finds themselves landing there. AKA skills going to be dropped down. Fisk, SEEKORG, the rest of the crew going to be rolling in, trying to find the shots onto the members of the last crew.
Fisk gets out of the bike. He's trying to get those shots off before the revive comes out, but he's down to 28 health. And he's facing damage from Mook from last crew. And he's going to be put down to 5 health. Can he survive? No, he gets knocked down, but will the frag come out?
A 1-for-1 between both of these teams. Neither of those knocks going to be secured just yet, as both try to reposition, both trying to find the flank on the other. Rez coming out as Jap looks to try to pick up AKA skills, but he has been spotted from atop the hillside. The shot's coming in. Furax with the Mini 14 trying to not only secure a flush, but also find another knock onto the likes of last crew, who have found themselves in a very vulnerable and open position on the East Coast.
Yeah, great bit for Furax to get on top of that hill, as Philo is as well, but they kind of realize, in my opinion, it's not really worth contesting that for now. Just get out. You're only wasting your resources. You're wasting time to find a better compound inside that circle. As we do see Airwaves, they are occupying a wizard tower and a bit of a hut.
So yeah, something that you can do here in the field of Pachinki, if you have the vehicles to also set up the cover and possibly depart from. They've got 4 vehicles, 3 UAZs and a Dacia to utilize, but they also have 3D Max, who was pushed out of the forest into the yellow buildings just off to the southeast of that Yasnaya Polyana city. So they have to worry. They definitely are in a good position as far as center goes, but they are in a very bad position as far as other teams having lines of sight. YMCA up on top of the hill is going to be one of those squads that spots out Airwaves in the Harry Potter, and shots from afar from Turbo Bananas. Mini 14 will be trying to apply some pressure. Able to find one tag in the Harry Potter. Will he be able to find even more?
Yeah, but now we see 3D Max from a distance are taking shots on towards YMCA. And YMCA, they are a little bit out in the open, so they've got to be careful. You got to kind of weigh up your options and go, is it worth taking the shots off when I'm out in the open? Of course, he did feel it was worth it, and it kind of was, but after hearing those shots in the direction of 3D Max, just back off, play it safe, and join the rest of your team. But last crew, they're on the west side of the circle, going to look for a bit of loot inside those houses, and then make their way inside the circle as it is starting to close its way in.
Thankfully, last crew was able to recover themselves off of that knock that they suffered from the likes of SEEKORG as another team rolls in. Mark that, 2 teams rolling into Yasnaya Polyana. That's going to be the members of Huge Potential, 1 point out of game number 1, as well as the members of Futbolist, 1 point out of game number 1. Both teams looking to have big performances here in game number 2, and both teams going to likely be pushed right into each other after this Phase 3 shift, which has gone down to the southeast.
I reckon it's going to be a Fields of Yasnaya finish, to be honest.
You're looking at hard shifts.
I'm looking at a hard shift.
All right.
Yeah, I am. Now we see side of PKD, Durianis looking to get a couple of shots on to a member of last crew, aka Skills, who's kind of on his own in that vehicle, has split up from the rest of his team, was looking to be a bit of a scout, but has now gone out of that vehicle because he realizes that he could be feeling a bit of heat if he doesn't heal himself up and play a bit of safe. But we've seen knockdown. Furax gets that frag onto one member of PKD. My Joe is down.
Unfortunately, pulling up right next to him, and now last crew pushing up onto the other members of PKD. He's able to find the knock in the flush with the M416 on top of Marco. 1 more goes down as 2 remain atop this hillside. It's just going to be, I believe, Azrael and his teammate to try to hold on to this game. They were looking like they were going to be playing off of a very good performance, at least in the early game. But as PUBG continues to show us, what might be looking good for the first 10 minutes can drastically shift in the other direction as Futbolists line themselves up in the other apartment right next to the likes of Huge Potential. Push coming out on the cliffs of Prison, where last crew is going to be trying to ride the northern edge of this, and 4 Kings taking the shots, able to find one connection, but the line of sight has been broken.
And plus the circle is now, the blue zone, sorry, should I say, is starting to close in. But the knockdown comes down. Great shots coming out from Manny215 onto Digger, knocking him down as that revive should come out before the blue zone gets near him because it is behind that rock. So he should be safe for now.
Two teams still lined up here in the apartments of Yasnaya. That's about 25 meters that separate these two squads, both looking again to try to pick up some big points. The police station going to be occupied by the members of MilkyWay off to the east. Yasnaya getting crowded, more shots coming out. Four Kings able to find another connection. Muck will be going down for last crew, is able to find the flush as well as they try to maneuver their way out of the blue zone, out of the western side of the cliffs of prison. One left, and it's going to be Digger. That's going to be a very difficult push for him coming out, especially with all four Kings having spotted his location.
Yeah, it's hard because he's nobody else that he can kind of use as a bit of a bait on his team. He can't really do anything other than just try to possibly use a couple of smokes if he does have a couple of smokes to get himself in a bit of a safer situation. But four Kings, they're looking pretty strong. They're looking to get their squad right. And Grishka Power has actually done well to move away from the rest of his team to become a little bit of a scout for his side. And I told you the hard shift, it shifted up northwards. It's not quite the fields of Yasnaya, but there's a bit there.
Yeah, definitely not that big field hard shift, but it is going to keep 3D Max in play in the yellow buildings. Airwaves has to roll out of the Harry Potter, has to try to find a way outside of this open area. Blue Zone takes down one of the four Kings. A bit of a misstep there as Manny will be dropped to his knees. Shots coming out from the police station in the distance, trying to tag down a few of the squads that linger down to the southeast. I believe that's SEEKORG and PKD and possibly even eXtatus in that direction. But all 16 teams still remain. Manny going to be dropped down and out of the game to his own hands as the members of Simply Simple start to at least frag out onto Azrael from PKD. That's one of the two remaining members of that squad dropped down and knocked.
Yeah, now Airwaves, they're trying to make their way through. They're using the hay bales as a bit of protection. 3D Max are aware of where they are. This is going to be a tough moment for Airwaves. Can they push their way through? Can they get a knockdown onto one member of 3D Max? In my opinion, all it will take is one, maybe two knockdowns to give Airwaves a chance to go into that building and push through. That's what they should look to do. But four Kings have taken down, fragged out that member of PKD, putting PKD down to one final member to try and keep himself alive. But action going down between Airwaves and Enviik.
Enviik rolls up onto the hillside where Airwaves was pinched now in between the likes of 3D Max. Shots coming out between all three teams as all three teams are losing members left and right. Airwaves able to find some good kills, but so are MJ-Esports onto the likes of Enviik. And just like that, Enviik gets dropped out in 16th place position. You definitely thought that PKD might be the first to go out, but no, they have been able to at least survive one placement with Enviik going on first. Absolutely insane.
And look at two members of 3D Max. They want to join in the fun. They realize that there's a couple of squads here that they can possibly third party onto. You have two going on forward. You have then two in the housing buildings in the distance. So they have nice scope, nice vision as Airwaves Hawk. He's trying to do his best. He's throwing out those smoke grenades. He's hiding behind those hay bales, but we are seeing just constant action in this field.
Big nades coming out for 3D Max, able to find two of the members of that Airwaves squad. More comes in, huge potential, going to be wiped out by Futbolist inside of Yasnaya Poyana. We knew that battle was going to happen, but this one continues to rage on as four of the members of MJ-Esports have now taken the hill where Enviik was previously holding, and they've got the members of Airwaves pinned down in between a few burned out vehicles and some hay bales, and that's not the spot you want to be. They were able to recover. Amorous was rezzed by Hawk, two alive, but still in a very nasty position.
And now we see Noki on the roof of that building, looking to spot out a couple of members of MJ-Esports. He does get into that vehicle, just try to reposition a little bit. Wago backs out for now because MilkyWay in the distance, quite close to them, are inside the circle, and they could be looking to possibly third party onto this squad fight and maybe put 3D Max under a bit more pressure.
Hammer is able to find a nice knock. Hawk looking to do the same, but the pressure is now starting to be applied on this Airwave squad by 3D Max. Shots come in, able to find one connection. Mark that now too as Phantom finds the knock onto Amorous. Knows there's at least one more player of that Airwave squad in that region, but they can't push too far. They can't overcommit because that next phase shift comes out, but it does favor them over towards the western side. A hard shift with Futbolist eliminated in 14th place position just as that happened.
Look at their Giannis. He's just on his own. I believe it's just a small, tiny hut. It's inside the circle. He's a lucky man. He's going to be able to survive for now. He's just going to be doing absolutely nothing. The side of eXtatus, they're on the east side. They were inside the circle. They're going to have to try and move in. But SEEKORG, they're going into that building. 2 members trying to survive as much as possible. But the action is still going strong between 3D and Airwaves.
Possibly the third knock that came in on Amorous. He bled out extremely fast. The second nade came in. Did significant amount of damage over to the remaining member of that squad, but battle rage is on here. MilkyWay going to be spotting out the likes of Morpheus and Powerful as SEEKORG tries to combat against eXtatus up here on the hillside of heaven. Shots coming out all around the map. This is the boiling point. At the 20-minute mark, teams are going to be dropping like flies, and MilkyWay looks to take out a dominant squad of Powerful just down to their south.
Oh, iZoom is down to 17th health. He's just trying to back off a little bit, but as he gets closer to that blue zone, he does run the risk of being taken out to that play zone for now. As we see the side of 3D Max, Phantom does knock down iZoom.
The third party coming out as 3D Max continues to have ultimate awareness of their surroundings. They were able to pick up those kills onto Airwaves and as well onto Enviik, and now they rotate over here towards the northeast to try to do the same to the members of the MilkyWay squad. Nades falling a little bit short, but they do have them on their back foot as they now start to take the peek. DP over the side of the road will be trying to find the spray down onto 3D Max, but is unable to find a single connection as they retreat back to their vehicles and possibly try to get out of dodge here to avoid being eliminated. Not going to be able to do so. iZoom is the first to drop here for MilkyWay by 3D Max.
3D Max do have to be a little bit careful though. They shouldn't be too aggressive, right? Otherwise you run the risk of getting spot out yourself, and because there's still 13 teams and 35 players alive, anything could happen, as we do see Solar gets knocked down.
Trades coming back out from MilkyWay onto this 3D Max squad. SEEKORG is going to be eliminated by a huge nade. Picking up a double kill for Zampeak and the likes of Inside Games. They continue on here after having a tough start to the match. Wago holding onto the roadside, still waiting for a head to poke up from the members of the MilkyWay. But as they rotate away from 3D Max, they rotate right into the direction of Powerful. Neither is the squad that you want to be pinched in between, and MilkyWay is feeling the hurt right now as Wago with the SLR is able to find the connection onto DP, drops him down and out, and Powerful turns around. They're able to find the MilkyWay squad as well. Man's getting dropped and flushed.
Yeah, we did see Powerful putting the pinch onto 3D Max as well. So Powerful just looking so strong. They're taking out anybody and everybody. They don't care who the body is. Once they find it, once they seek it, they are going to destroy it. But one member of MilkyWay is still alive, but easy going to go down to the circle as that blue zone. The circle shifted, and that blue zone is really going to start putting a lot of hurt onto the likes of 3D Max that are in the north side as well as Powerful.
Second hard shift in a row here in the late game of match number 2. YMCA looks to hold strong here on the southern hill, but they also have a friendly, well, not so friendly neighbor in the form of Simply Simple. One still alive, going to be holding on as MilkyWay gets eliminated. Unfortunately, they weren't able to stay alive, but Powerful clashing with the likes of eXtatus as well as action continues to pop off around the map. eXtatus, Reggie Beardo going to be spotted out, and with the shots coming out of the bolt action sniper, Morpheus is able to find the elimination. 9 teams now remaining, 23 alive as we approach the final stages of this game.
Yeah, last crew inside circle. They're looking for SS and YMCA, but they've also got to be careful because behind them, Inside Games are looking to move their way through. I don't know if they'll go that southern direction or whether they'll go more of a northern direction to get into that circle, but the teams are pinching closer and closer together. 9 teams, 23 players alive as PKD does get the knockdown onto Noki.
Snakes in the grass, able to find a kill right there. Good pickup for PKD as Simply Simple does get spotted out by Sampula of YMCA Esports. Picks up a kill and a squad elimination as Airwaves quickly follow out of the game in 8th place. And another team goes out. That's going to be Inside Games. The teams are dropping just as fast as they entered into this game, essentially from that plane. And now leaving us with 6 remaining, 18 players alive, a 3-player per team average, as Powerful looks to try to hold that 4-man advantage, picking up the res onto Morpheus.
Oh man, drop it like it's hot. Marcelic looking for the shots onto Solar, not quite connecting. That's actually a little bit unusual. Normally he's a bit more on point with those shots, but he gets a couple of shots off, realizes, okay, they're not connecting, and backs off, and that's a perfect response from Marcella. Power, still a 4-man team, still looking to push their way in. They're going to face pressure from PKD, that one final member, as well as 3D Max, as well as even the likes of MJ-Esports, who are kind of in the center of that circle.
That was your second song reference, by the way.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You said drop it like it's hot. I
don't know the song though. I just know that lyric.
Oh man! All right.
Okay.
Third time here around the northeastern side of the circle. They've got 3D Max now pinched in between MJ-Esports. Both sides going to be at least presenting some pressure from their locations. But with this next phase shift down to the south, they will have to go. Not as heavy as a hard shift as we had seen in the previous 2 phases, but still going to be enough open ground for both 3D Max, MJ-Esports, as well as the likes of Powerful to have to worry about this push.
Oh man, this is looking... Hey, look, I gotta give credit to last member PKD. He's done well. He's just inside circle, and he's looking to get possibly a frag out. Taking a couple of shots in the direction of 3D Max. Darianis, not afraid to get those shots off if he can inside the mini-map. But you got to say, Powerful as a 4-man team, they are putting themselves in a strong position to keep on going in this game.
Shots coming out. Ghost Star able to continue to spot out 3D Max. Nice SLR placement. Going to be able to find the headshot onto Solar. Looks for another one onto Wago, who's out in the wide open, trying to use that smoke concealment as a bit of cover, but not from that line of sight that Ghost Star has. Bombing into the vehicle now, a last-ditch effort, but it's not going to be enough. Ghost Star and Marslick pick up massive kills, wiping out 3D Max. And Morpheus, the other member of Powerful, has diverted his attention over towards the likes of Last Crew. Picking up a nice knock there. Digger still, again, going to be the only one alive. I believe the second knock for AKA Skills, so you do see him bleeding out very fast as YMCA Sampula comes in for the flank.
Yeah, he's looking for the flank. He's looking for that blowout. PKD does get eliminated. Marcelic does make that 11 kills for Powerful. Mini, though, does frag out Norcus, so that does make Powerful down to 3 players as MJ-Esports suddenly find themselves in a strong position in the final moments of this game, as do YMCA, but I'm surprised they didn't push on a little bit more forward. I'm surprised they didn't look to make that higher level push onto Last Crew as that revive did come out.
Powerful engaging on the MJ-Esports in the kill feed, but YMCA has found at least a few kills onto the likes of this squad. They're able to find one more, and there it is. Last Crew gets wiped out and eliminated in 4th place position. A good push for them, but it ends there. Top 3 now going to be secured here for these final squads. YMCA Esports, Powerful, and MJ-Esports all trying to compete here to take down that chicken dinner. A very consistent performance coming out so far on the day by both Powerful and YMCA. Hell, all of these teams, 3 of these teams, these 3 teams in the top 4 coming out of game number 1, and they're looking to keep that consistency strong here, rolling through the first day of stage 2.
Yeah. You gotta say, though, that road that divides these teams, it just makes it such an exposing part of that circle, right? Because you can't go across the road. It's stupid. You gotta stay in either the kind of north side or the south side of that circle. Of course, we'll find out if we get to the point where these teams are still going for this final phase, whether it will stay on the north side or the south side of that road. But right now, Sampula is backing off, just trying to find those shots off onto Powerful. MJ-Esports also looking in a strong position. Powerful have already got 11 kills, Esquire. They can just play a little bit safer. They know they're in the double digits. Stay confident, stay strong.
55 seconds on the clock until that phase 9 circle will be in effect. The ultimate collapse here in game number 2, and teams are going to be trying to find that centralized position. Phase 8, it sets the landscape. Phase 9 is the collapse. So who is going to be holding on to it? Right now, it's going to be YMCA Esports. They've got some defilade to work off of to at least hold off and find cover from the likes of MJ-Esports, who will be combating against Powerful for that northern push. It's all going to come down to a few seconds, though. 25 on the board, as everyone has found themselves, at least for right now, comfortably inside of phase number 8.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to 2 members of YMCA. They actually did go across the road, and they're hugging the dip by that hill outside the road, so they do spot a few more angles. Of course, the fear is that, yes, if one of them gets knocked down, there's a less chance they're going to get the revive. But at this stage of the game, you look to knock out the frag out, or you look to get fragged out yourself, right? Because it's now or never. You got to make that play as this next phase is going to go down. What is going to happen? Who's going to come out on top, Esquire?
I like the positioning that YMCA has taken up. They're not going to be playing passive. They want to choke out any type of transition, any type of movement coming off of the northern flank of this circle. Blue zone slowly approaching. Spray coming out as Turbo Banana utilizes that defilade. Coyote, though, going to be kicking it off with a nice frag. Headshot connection onto Juno. Powerful going to be going down. MJ-Esports combating the other team. This is going to be a triangular engagement, and Powerful is going to be the first to exit out of it. Two teams remain. MJ-Esports already on their back foot. Juno going to be knocked down. Not out just yet. Many drop down to about 30% HP as Stratus tries to stay alive behind this UAS, but it's not going to be able to provide him much safety as 4 members of YMCA continue to swarm. Turbo Banani with another on the mini. Juno goes out, and as quickly as that battle started, YMCA claims another chicken dinner. 9 kills to their name, picking up that first place. Imperium.
Man, the second YMCA saw that Powerful were eliminated, they got so much more aggressive, right? Because the damage had already been done onto MJ-Esports. They were still a 4-man squad. They did exactly what they needed to. They did not let the revives come out in any way whatsoever. Of course, it was always going to be towards their advantage, but taking control of it was exactly what they needed to do, and it's exactly what they did. Great play by them.
Yeah, taking control of it was certainly something they did in this game, but on a more macro level, they're taking control of this entire stage in just 2 games. They're going to be picking up so many points. Holy cow. They had 20 points, I believe, just off of game number 1, and then combo that with the 19-point game number 2, 39 points, putting them atop the leaderboards for sure. If they keep this consistency up for at least a few more games, they're going to be sitting very confidently and at least in a good position to move forward. But that was a hell of a game to be played out by multiple squads, especially at the end there.
And it's funny because that's the thing, you touched upon it, right? In terms of like 3 of the last teams were, I believe, as you said, in the top 4 after game 1. And I know it's only the first couple of games, but we didn't really see that in stage 1. We saw a very mix-up of we didn't really see any team get like more than 1 chicken dinner for quite a while. We didn't really see any team dominating until Powerful got those 2 wins in a row. So to see 3 or 4 teams get strong performances 2 games in a row, it does show a shift in the performances, a shift in the standard of these teams.
Well, especially a shift in the standard of YMCA, who didn't necessarily find this easy of a performance. And I'm not going to say easy, but rather this extreme of a performance in that first stage of this tournament. But boy, did they put things together. Whatever they did in stage 1, whatever they talked about going into stage 2 is definitely working for them so far. But like you also mentioned, Imperium, 2 games in the books. It's not a lot, but at least it's a good start.
Hell yeah, and that's the thing. You talk about those averages that generally put the teams on top of the table between 8 to 11 points per game. And when you have nearly 40 points in 2 games, that's a very good start. But we see 16th to 9th, 2 teams getting 0 points. That is Enviik and Simply Simple.
Enviik falling very short again once in this game. Having a pretty tough day so far, but again, the day is young. The stage 2 process is young, but again, YMCA Esports 19 points up at the top. Powerful, making a very extreme push as well, able to pick up a good grip of points for their own. But let's compare it. MJ-Esports versus YMCA, first and second place by placement. That damage certainly massive on behalf of YMCA.
Then we do look at the damage leaders as far as individually. Marcelic, 704. Mini Bear with 600. But there is a nice even then Stevens run down below that where you have that between 300 to 700 damage. So great job overall. And the kill leaders, Marcelic once again coming out on top with 6.
Yeah, 6 is still the number to beat. That's at least the most kills that a single player has been able to pick up in the first 2 matches of this day. At YMCA Esports, at least they continue to own the board. They're going to be looking to try to do a repeat, a 3-peat, and possibly even own the day as we roll into the final 2 matches.